to think of the friend that like they just go out with and are lifted in the sense of like just good energy and fun, and you leave happier than when you came. Like words are very powerful and actions are very powerful. I am a shit show just like everybody else. Embracing that nothing is perfect.
Welcome to Loud and Lifted, the podcast where we go beyond hashtags and high fives to talk about what women supporting women really looks like. Today's guest is someone I absolutely love spending time with, not just because she finds me amazing clothes to rock, and definitely not because she told me to stop wearing so much black, but because she's the real deal. Meet Margaret Miller, the founder, owner, and face of Three Little Birds Boutique, a thriving 3-location fashion boutique in central Pennsylvania with a fiercely loyal following and a whole lot of heart. Margaret left a steady career in teaching to chase a big dream, creating a space for women to shop locally for clothing that helps them look amazing and feel confident, while providing an exceptional customer experience. And it doesn't stop there. Margaret has created her own clothing line, Joe Flower, a house designer label exclusive to TLB. But let's be honest, it hasn't always been easy. In this episode, we're talking about what it's like to be a woman building something bold, navigating judgment, and sometimes feeling like you're not fully embraced by the community you aim to uplift. We're getting real about how to build genuine support, how to find your circle, or create your own, and how we can stop shrinking ourselves just to keep things comfortable. Let's get loud and lifted with the bold and brilliant Margaret Miller. Welcome, Margaret, or should I say thank you for having us to your location. We are actually on site at Three Little Birds in Mechanicsburg, and this beautiful room is actually the dressing room. So this just gives you an idea of this beautiful location here in Mechanicsburg. So thank you so much for hosting us and allowing us to be the first time we are on site, which is a little sketchy.
Yeah, this is going to be a great run through. At least we have like a great background to work with. But thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, so let's go back to the beginning. I mentioned in the intro that you actually started off as a teacher and now you are a fashionista. So just walk us through how you went from teaching to owning 3 boutiques.
When I was younger, I was often interested in fashion, doing my own thing. I did my own hair. I was one of those high schoolers that was a little creative. My early days, I definitely thrifted. My parents, were like working class. My mom was not into fashion, so she wasn't going to spend any money on fashion in that sense. But I loved doing hair and whatnot. And when I was making the decision to go to college and what I wanted to do, I knew if I did do hair, though, the one thing she did value is education. So she said, like, you're going to do this, I want to send you to New York. And at that time, family was also really important to me. And I was worried that if I was in New York and work became my life, because I know how I am, that I would wait on a family or it might not happen. So I decided to go with teaching instead. Not that I was settling. It was something else that I really enjoyed. Obviously, yapping, as my son says, I'm very good at. So teaching about reading, I always enjoyed English. I went that route and I kind of made a deal with God, and I was like, just give me a girl and I can do her hair and dress her up and I'll get my like little fix, which I did get my girl. In fact, I was taking out her braids this morning because she wanted crimped hair today.
Oh, nice. I love that.
So I was braiding. But that kind of propelled me into teaching. And then I had 3 under 3. I had a set of twins, and then I had a baby pretty quick after, not realizing that it would happen that soon. So I left teaching because my paycheck was daycare. And from there, I hopped into a direct sales called LuLaRoe. I discovered it.
Oh my gosh, the legging era. Can we just pause for that really great time?
Yes, yes. There will be people who kind of casually, I don't want to say if they're digging, or they kind of make a comment like, oh, you did LuLaRoe? How was that? And I kind of look around and I'm like, well, it gave me this.
Right. And the confidence to sell.
It was a great stepping stone, and it gave me the financial gain I needed to open this, because sometimes it's cute when people walk in and they're like, when's the next store opening? And it's a lot of money to open a store.
Sure.
It's a lot of money, and there's no bank, even how cute I can be, that's going to be like, oh my gosh, here, you can give it a try. So it can be tough in that. So that's kind of how I essentially got back into fashion was LuLaRoe. When I turned 30, my husband took me to Vegas and he had dinner and he was like, listen, I think you should do this on your own. You're so successful with LuLaRoe and they pick what they give you.
Right.
And he was like, imagine if you got to pick all the clothes in your store, how much more successful you would be because your styling, the girls really like how you run your business. So he gave me the financial blessing. Basically,
So
he's
awesome.
like, I'll carry the family.
Shout out to Tom.
Yeah. I'll carry the family and I want you to try this because I really think it's going to work. So that's when I opened Mechanicsburg.
And what year was that when your first location opened?
First location opened in 2018. However, I started in 2017. One thing about building stores is whenever construction tells you, you add 3 to 6
Absolutely.
months. Learned that fast. So I redid our basement at a previous home that had an outdoor access that people could come in and shop until my doors were open. Because one thing that some people don't know is like we have to buy our inventory ahead of seasons. So I bought my inventory anticipating opening 2017 in an actual store. Well, the clothes still come even though the doors aren't open.
Right.
So I have to figure out what
Oh my
we're going to do.
gosh.
And then also online.
Okay.
And I was very lucky that a lot of my LuLaRoe girls transitioned with me and were rooting for me and supporting me.
You almost had to start with a customer base, which
Yeah,
is
when
unusual.
I jumped into a different type of clothing style.
Did you have that like, oh shit moments when the doors actually opened of the location where you're like, whoa, like this is amazing. What have I done? Or, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this.
No, I was happy to get all that stuff out of my house.
True. That's fair.
No, I finally felt official. I think with small businesses, there's some moments where you're like, oh my gosh, like I look legit. Like it could be something that you printed off of Canva that actually looks like very professional to like getting our signs done.
Sure.
And I was like, wow, that actually looks like a sign that can compete with like national brands. Like, oh, okay. So I think it's like little stuff like that I was kind of like, it's more of like, it's real.
It's real.
I feel
Sure,
official,
that's fair.
not
Yeah.
that I'm trying, like, it's not a side gig. It's
Sure.
not a hobby. It's not casual.
Well, when you placed your first inventory order, you probably realized it was real too when you had to send that check.
Yeah.
Or when you got that invoice.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was part of the fun too. So what I love about you is you have not just built this clothing brand, which is amazing. And I love that you sell brands that you can't find in other parts of Central PA or are hard to find. And the fact that you created your own clothing line is amazing. Which shout out, my shirt that I have on is a Joe Flowers shirt, one of many in my closet that I love. But you also have become part of the brand. Like this is your brand, this is your baby, but you're the face of the brand and your social media really accentuates that. So how was that sort of intentional from the beginning, or that just kind of happened naturally that your brand and the Three Little Birds brand is so closely aligned?
I think it stems back to small business and your every part. I didn't have, like when I first started, it was just me. And then I had one employee,
Right.
and we've been growing since there. And I'm sure for those who have followed, have seen, I'm trying to bring in more faces. My goal is when you walk in, not for people to look for me. My goal, I love when people walk in and they're like, oh my God,
Maddie's working.
Maddie's here. I mean, secretly I roll my eyes. I'm like, I get it. But I want girls to be comfortable with a whole group of us. Like when I envision women, when they think of, Margaret Miller or Three Little Birds, I want them to be like, man, I want to hang out with them. They look like fun. I'm sure everybody has this friend. Like I want them to think of the friend that like they just go out with and are lifted in the sense of like just good energy and fun, and you leave happier than when you came.
Right.
And that's what I would like us to be. And that's kind of our image and Instagram. And that's why we do the song and dance and stuff, because we like entertaining and we want people to laugh and smile and have that jovial spirit.
Absolutely.
So
it's a fun environment, and you've done a great job with that. And I remember before I actually met you in real life, watching you on social media, I thought I'd be friends with her. I'd totally be friends with her. So then when I did actually see you at an event, we were in a women's group at the time. I remember being like, oh, I need to go talk to her, because I knew that you would be somebody that I would connect with and we'd have stuff in common.
And I think it also, hopefully with the Instagram, alleviates the, I don't think tension's the right word, but this stiffness that like business owners bring. Like when I know the owner. Like, no, I am a shit show just like everybody else. Like,
Right.
there's
Right.
so people who don't know me or haven't come in or haven't experienced me in person can hopefully get across that I'm not someone to be threatened
Sure.
by.
Yeah. You should not be
As I'm,
intimidating. Right.
shaking hands, I'm wondering, is my hand too strong? Oh my God, I'm sweating. Oh my God, blah, blah. Like I'm in the insecurities of impressing you as much as you think that you're impressing me. Like,
Right.
I mean, it's just,
Well, and you guys, you do keep it real. You keep it real with, you are all the ones trying the clothing on that are in different sizes. I love when
yep.
you do your, extra small to extra large sizes. This is what this dress looks on
Mhm.
me. Like I love all that. And, you show up on camera in front of your 10,000 followers without makeup on and a
Yeah.
big zit or whatever. And you keep it very authentic and real, which is your brand. That is true
Yes.
to who you are.
Yes, I think when it comes to, and this is where my eighth grade teacher comes fully out, is just embracing that nothing is perfect.
Right.
Your body is not going to be perfect of what you see in your eyes. However, somebody is out there looking at something you have that they don't have, and they think it is perfect and beautiful. So it's just kind of embracing that not everything, it's going to be messy, and it's just learning how to handle it is, I think, what's beautiful about it, and learning how to embrace it and work with it. And it is what it is. Like,
Sure.
that acceptance, there's so much beauty in that. Like,
Absolutely.
this is who I am.
So what kind of feedback do you get from your followers? Do people embrace that, or sometimes do you get pushback? Like, why are you being so real? How does that?
I mean, I've had some people tell me I need to get a personal account. Which
You're like,
is,
this is my personal account. It's my
which is,
brand.
I was like, guys, I don't have enough time. Like,
Right,
I don't have
right.
time for that. I can only do Instagram. I can't even get on Snapchat.
Right.
I don't even know
Yeah,
where to
it's not,
start
don't
there.
bother.
So at times, yes, but it is what it is. I think the biggest thing with posting is I try my hardest not to, I don't want to piss anybody off. I don't want to create
That's very
a
challenging
a
nowadays.
polarizing. Yes. But I think the biggest thing is I wonder, when are people getting the shits of me? Because if I get the shits, like Amanda, I'm like, Amanda, I'm tired of seeing like, we need to get some other people in pictures. Like, we got to get some other people in video. Like, I'm getting the shits. That means people are getting the shits. Like, it's like, we get it, Margaret. So it's understanding that too. Like, I'm okay. And I understand where it's like, I'm putting out too much content of my quote unquote, like, self. If that,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
it's just like, eye roll.
But that's
So
funny. You
we're
just kind of flip
aware.
past. I mean, I've never felt that, but if you do,
it,
then keep scrolling. It's
Yeah,
okay.
it's like, was it fish and visitors stink in 3 days? Like, kick them out. Like, it's the same thing when you love people, but you're getting a little too much of them, or
Yeah.
your favorite song on the radio.
Okay, that's
When they
fair.
play it too much, then you start being like, "Ugh," and you change the station.
Right.
I want to make sure that I'm not like that for people.
That makes sense. Okay, so we're in the dressing room, which again, this is amazing, huge dressing room, which is interesting because part of your job is you get this front row seat of women coming in here
Mhm.
and trying clothes on
Mhm.
in sort of the main area outside the dressing room. And, as women, a lot of times we are vulnerable to trying on clothes and we're not confident and we think everything makes us look fat or whatever, too tight,
Yeah.
too small, whatever it is. So, how do you deal with that as the business owner? How do your girls deal with that?
Mhm.
Because they're amazing of trying to build that confidence in women
Yeah.
versus just having people not want to try on
Yeah.
clothes.
You talk about pissing people off. Don't put a mirror in your dressing room.
Right. You do force them to come out.
Yes. So every store has one dressing room that has a mirror. However, the way that we designed Lancaster and Mechanicsburg is that it's semi-private. So you can stay in your dressing room, open the curtain, and still see yourself in a mirror, and you
Okay.
don't have to step out.
Okay.
However, it also allows you to open up the curtain. So a lot of times too, dressing rooms can be very small. You're up against the mirror, horrible like lighting. I mean, everybody's trying, but it's still very
Sure, it's
shadowy
hard.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So when you step out in more natural light and a bigger space, I feel like you see things better. The other reason we have you step out is literally for sizing. So many people are wearing the wrong size. So I see when women are stepping out over the years, um, they don't like this or they don't like that. They nitpick at themselves, the details that nobody else sees. So what I try to explain it is I want to make sure they're validated in their feelings. They can have those feelings. I get exactly what you're talking about. I'm telling you as a person outside of you,
Right.
I can't see it. You know it's there. You see it. That's something that's always going to be mentally there. However, this print or this cut, I cannot see it. So the biggest thing too is like we're very
Sure.
honest. Um, we're not.
I don't think you're fake though. It's not like you're like, oh, you look perfect. And you're like, oh, actually, you need to size
No,
up, down, or maybe those
never.
stripes
It
don't work. It's
never.
always very authentic
Yes, but we
feedback.
also want to be cautious too and skirt around um feelings of you have to be careful where it's like you telling women like I think you should size up for the way that it hangs on you. So oftentimes I is the word self-deprecate, is that
Oh,
the
sure.
word?
Yeah.
Essentially
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
use myself as an example.
Yeah.
So like I have a button thighs and a small waist, so I usually have to go up for it to fit my thighs. And oftentimes too, if we have new mothers in, I can be an example. Like I will pull up my shirt and show them like I have all these stretch marks.
Oh,
So like I
yeah.
have to loop. So I find sometimes where I talk about my body
Mm.
issues and what I have
Mm-hmm.
to work with, it makes them feel more
Feel more
comfortable.
comfortable. That's fair.
Because sometimes they'll walk in and we quote unquote look like, oh, your hair's done or this, like you caught me on a good day. I think that's sometimes too why when I am in here, there's days that I look great, but I also like looking normal, no
Mm-hmm.
makeup, my hair
Yeah.
isn't done, because it's a reminder that it's like we aren't
Right.
perfect.
Right.
And a lot of times women are vulnerable here, and a lot of them come in without makeup and they're in between errands. And so I
Mm-hmm.
always tell them, I'm like, listen, if you're vibing with yourself now, it's only going to get better.
Nice.
Like your
Yeah.
hair's done, your makeup's done, it's going to be a look. So that's kind of
Oh,
the
that makes sense. How about
things.
that feeling though when you have found the perfect outfit for somebody, right? And they walk out of here so confident and excited that they have something that's going to make them feel good.
Yes. I get excited, but it's not for me finding the perfect outfit for them. It's more I get excited because of their facial expressions and like they truly like feel good.
Sure.
So it's not so much what I did; it's more about how they
How they feel.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, leaving. And the best is when you see pictures of them posted. I love when people pick
Oh,
dresses for significant moments in their life or
oh, nice.
outfits,
Okay.
or when they're feeling most vulnerable,
Okay.
they come here and we get to help them.
I love that.
And that's a such a compliment
Sure.
that we take very, very seriously and a lot of pride in.
No, I love that. You're helping to build confidence, and a lot of people don't have that opportunity in their life.
Yes.
So the fact that you help people build confidence that they go out and hopefully, have a better day or more supportive of women, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's quite the responsibility. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about circles. So I like to talk about circles because I feel like it's really important for women to have circles around them that are supportive. So professional, personal, social, family, there's all these different circles. So talk to me about your circles as it relates to your business. Because as a small business owner, I think it's very challenging probably to build your circles because you're kind of on this island by yourself. You're the owner, you have a great team, that's awesome. But how do you build those circles within the community with other small business owners?
I think it's very hard because you are very busy and involved with what you have to do with a lot of responsibility. Having a partner who supports, and I've said this since the beginning, my husband who gets it, who understands and who supports and who doesn't guilt me into like having to work late or I got caught up with a client, but is more understanding. Or like I'll have ladies that came into Hershey and they're like, we were having lunch the other day and I think it was your husband who came over and said we had
Aw.
to come in here.
How about the
Now,
fact that he also wore your jeans? Can we also
yes,
acknowledge his
yes.
credit for that? That's how
Applaud
supportive he
Tom.
is.
I mean, he's helping my Instagram grow.
Right.
Him and a lot of females who are
So hilarious.
enjoying his thighs. But I will say it starts with having a supportive partner in that sense. And family always helps. My mom retired and she works here, and it's wonderful when she's here because I know she's doing great things because she wants this to succeed and she
Love
sees how
that.
much time and effort I put into it. But I have limited friends. I don't have a lot of friends. I have one like best friend, and it's super funny. And other businesses do comment on this on Instagram. But when somebody comes in and they're like, "I'm friends with the owner," our girls like laugh because I only have like
Oh,
one friend.
and they know who she is.
Shout out Martha. Shout out Martha. I only have like one friend essentially who I get to, have lunch with once a month. And she's like, spill your beans, like, what's going on? Which has been such a blessing for me. But it's hard entering circles and trying, I told my eighth graders when I'm like, this is where it ends. This is where social kind of standings and relationships and all of it, like, this is where it ends. Everybody just gets a little bit taller. But it can feel kind of clicky like high school. And it's hard to break into different barriers, whether it be industry, whether it be if you're a transplant, like I'm a transplant here in Cumberland Valley. Whether you've come from, I came from teaching. So if I have connections to teachers, and again, I'm a transplant, so there's not a community of teachers where I came from in that sense. So I think my circle, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I think sometimes too, if this is where success stands in, where I have 3 boutiques, I'm working on number 4, as long as the economy doesn't go crazy right now. Where it's like, are people put off by that? I don't know. We try to do what we can to break barriers and make connections.
So
Yeah.
if you could wave your magic wand and fix that, right? Like what would that look like? What would your ideal professional community circle look like? How would you guys support each other?
text random text
Oh,
messages.
okay. Okay.
And I try to do that myself. For other business owners, just sending them like a reminder of how hard it is. Not many people choose
Sure.
to do this.
Yeah.
What they are doing makes a difference. Obviously, like, just meetings, and you don't want to have like vent or like rant meetings, but almost like a validation where there's things that we can't publicly talk about.
And it's good to know you're not alone, right?
Mhm.
You're all going through the same thing. You have the same
Exactly. And
challenges and
and and again, because of teaching, sometimes it's hard to not take things personally when you're a teacher, because you're so invested and so
mhm.
closely tied to what you are doing. And the same thing is with your business. Like, you're trying every day to make the right decisions for what you feel is for not it's right decisions for the business, but it's like I always say, don't think about the goose, think about the gander. It's not what's good for the goose, it's what's good for the gander. So oftentimes decisions I'm making aren't even good for me, and there are times where it's still not good enough.
Mm.
It's never enough. And unfortunately, with big corporations, this whole
Yeah.
type of shopping environment and understanding, I made the comment, which got a lot of responses from boutiques: don't place corporate expectations on small business.
Mm.
Just as when you walk into a Target, when you walk into a Nordstrom, you don't expect them to know your name.
True.
But when you walk in here, you expect
Right.
us to know your name because you've been in here and it's
Sure.
just us and we're small and we know
Right.
you. So unfortunately, I think there's business owners in each industry that feel that the environment of the economy and just expectations of the consumer has changed, and it's making it harder and harder for small business to compete
Sure.
with that.
And that's why you guys all need to be connected in some kind of capacity because you
Exactly,
can help support
exactly.
each other
And
and
that's where, you hear it all the time, that community over competition. You hear it and you hear it. However, there's still this sense, it's quiet. This sense of like, if somebody else is getting a client or you saw somebody there, right? You get this like, oh my God, they're not shopping with us. And then that's that lost
mm,
essential finances. And you feel like, oh my gosh, like, are we losing clients? In that sense. But it's also the understanding is there's just so many people.
right.
And I want people to be able to find clothing all
Sure.
around
Right.
central PA.
Yeah. No one's going to shop only at one location
No,
for all their
it's
clothing. It's
the
not
same of like
possible.
eating out.
Right.
Like, you're
Right.
not going to eat
You're not
out
going to only shop or eat at one
at
restaurant.
the
Absolutely.
same
Yeah.
restaurant
Yeah.
every time. So it's kind of like pushing out that fear of,
Yeah.
because somebody else is shopping with somebody else, it doesn't mean they hate you.
Right.
Like, take it out of your mind. But And that's where, so for example, I'm going to use some boutiques, if that's okay. So
Yeah.
for example, like if I have somebody coming in and they're a little bit older and they want a conservative, say they're going to a baptism and they want more of a conservative dress, right? And we don't really have anything. I'm sending them to Little Black Dress. We have a girl coming in, she's headed to Nashville, bachelorette party, like, yeehaw, sparkles and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I don't really have anything.
Right.
Okay, I'm sending her to Apricot Lane. Um, uh, I had clients in here and they love frame. They love frame denim. And I'm like, don't go to King of Prussia. Go to Maggie Adams. She carries frame. Like,
Oh,
go there
nice.
first.
Yeah.
Lululemon. A lot of people don't know this. Shout out Fleet Feet, which is where I get my sneakers and stuff.
Oh.
Fleet Feet carries
Oh, I
Lululemon.
didn't even know
I
that.
said, nobody
Yeah.
knows that.
Yeah.
And I'm like screaming that, like, don't order online. It's the
Right.
same price.
Right.
It's the same price.
Right.
Get it from
Just
them.
support them.
Yes, and they're nice, and they're people that we
Right.
see every,
Yeah.
not every day, obviously you're not
Sure.
going in, but they're in our community.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like in that sense too, where, trying to make it go, and going back to circles and stuff, as I'm trying, success, I think, is also like part of it, and like opening yourself up to those connections. And I think it starts to, like, in your actual industry, starting there, because you're going to have the most
Sure.
in common
Right.
with
Absolutely.
those. And
Yeah.
if we alleviate that kind of tension, I think that's going to build a stronger community. I think it's something to be said if women see us united
Yes.
as a group of shopping
Sure.
options. I think they would be more inclined to be like, we have great stuff here,
Right.
instead of thinking, oh, I need to go somewhere far to find something special.
Sure. Makes sense. Yeah, no, and you're right. Sometimes I think it's a tension piece that people just don't want to take the first step. So, if it's trying to reach out first and be, seeing people in person or going into their shops, I hope maybe it'll help to sort of start to facilitate those relationships.
Yeah. And just
because it is-
even like a working understanding of even how we can provide better shopping for, our community,
Right.
Better environments, essentially, for our community.
So, what's something you wish more women knew about what it takes to run a business like this?
Words are very strong. And the impact that customers have a lot of power, and financial power. Yes, obviously, but words have a lot of power in them. And again, going back to the business, you try so hard and try to do the right thing, and the best thing of like what you can. And there are often times when you run a business, you give everything you can, and it's never enough. It's never enough. So it's trying to figure out that balance of trying to make everybody, I mean, literally people are like, you can't make everybody happy. Well, that's literally my business. It's trying to make everybody happy. Right. So sometimes when I hear phrases like that, and, you don't want to be a people pleaser. Again, I'm in the business of pleasing people.
Right.
So I think the biggest thing is, like, words are very powerful, and actions are very powerful. Like, the little things that you do are so impactful. Whether you're a client, just shooting a text to a business owner saying, oh my gosh, I was in today, and, Brooke was absolutely amazing. She did this. Like, that little thing is what keeps me saying, okay, I am enough. Like, we're doing okay. Like, we're making people happy. So words and actions are powerful, and it's the little things that you might not think. And I don't know if this is a call to action, but I challenge anybody, like, on a drive, anytime you drive somewhere, like, you don't drive and text. That's not what I'm saying. But anytime you drive somewhere, I think of somebody, and whenever, right before you walk in your house, the restaurant, whatever, whoever who you were thinking of, just text them. Hope you're having, like, a great day. That's so powerful, because it lets somebody know that they're thinking about you.
Absolutely. And support. People, no matter what business you're in, they want to feel supported. You want to feel like you're doing a good job. You want people to be happy. And yes, them coming back is part of it, but it's just feeling that support and saying thank you, or reposting something on social. It's just those little things can go a long way. Even
as a boss and as a leader here, I try to be very, very aware of the little things, like texting. And it's not even after a hard situation. It's like, and not patting my back, but just giving an example. I just wanted to remind my 3 managers, and I sent them a text message and I say, I woke up thankful today that I have the 3 of you.
Oh, I love that.
But that's literally what I thought,
true,
right?
Yeah.
That was what I was thinking, but I put those words and I wanted to make them powerful and make sure they know that I appreciate them.
I love that.
So
I love that. That's great. Okay, we're going to mix it up with a lightning round. So quick answers. The first thing that comes to your head, you don't have to think about this. What is your go-to power outfit when you need to feel unstoppable?
Okay. So I know it's like a power outfit, but I'd rather do power hair.
Okay.
If you follow me on Instagram, you obviously know that I finally found like my hair and my look. Essentially, I'm 37. It took 37 years and probably like 37 colors, but I finally. I've ran from red for my whole life. I finally embraced putting that red undertone in my hair, and I've never gotten so many compliments in my life. Not only compliments, but like compliments by cool people. Like when you look at them and you're like, dude, they're cool.
They're cool.
And they just like my hair. So I would say like a really good hair day.
I love that. Okay. What's one guilty pleasure you're not even feeling guilty about?
Okay. It's work.
Work.
Where I'm addicted to work. I enjoy working. I enjoy production. So you will not catch me just sitting there watching a movie. If I'm watching a movie, I will be crocheting. I will be working on our schedule.
Okay.
Like I will be doing something.
You're just always productive.
Productive, yes.
I can understand that. Favorite book?
Unreasonable Hospitality. Get it. It's yellow and black. If you are in business, get it. I bought quite a few books to hand out. You talk about connecting with other businesses. That's great. My favorite non-educational book will always be Tried and True, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I can't wait till if they make that a movie. It was written so well. I love historic fiction. So
nice. All right, good. All right, last question. One thing women should stop apologizing for?
Everything. I'm sorry is used so as a anxious filler.
Oh, yeah. That's a great way to explain
it.
Yeah,
Like an anxious filler. Like, well, I'm sorry. And they'll be saying, I'm sorry to like a statement. And it's like, why are you apologizing? Even I see it with our girls. We are so quick to say like, oh, I'm sorry. But we're not even sure quite what's going on.
Apologizing.
And then on the other end is sometimes I think we use I'm sorry as a get out of jail free card where I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. And I'll just be like, sorry about that. Because we are also conditioned to say my 2 most hated words in the English language. It's fine. How often do we say, oh, it's fine? And in our heads,
we don't mean it.
It is not
Especially
fine.
Especially we say to her husband, that's definitely not
it's
fine.
It's not fine, right? So I'm sorry could be a whole other podcast with the complexities of how we use it today. But I do think women apologize for, they say, I'm sorry for
that's great. That's
everything. So,
okay, well, we're wrapping up here. This has been an amazing conversation, but any parting words, any other advice that you want to share with our listeners?
The one statement that I really wanted to share, and just especially with the state of everything that's happening in the world, is that every dollar you spend is a statement for the type of world you want to live in. I think that's an excellent statement of just being more aware. And it's obviously we want you to spend dollars with small business and in that sense. However, look at what you're spending your money on in the sense of when you are getting a quote unquote deal or that dress was only $20. Something has to go super wrong and kind of questionable for it to be $20. It's like if we were drinking wine right now and I was like, here's my $5 bottle of Merlot for you. You'd be like, what? Okay. Right? Drinking and you're like, oh my God. Right. But we aren't questioning why we're putting a shirt on our body that was only $5.
Yeah.
So looking at it in that nature, and I know as a business owner and other people can imagine when you buy a shirt, it doesn't pay for just the shirt and just the fabric, but everybody who made it, it's all of its working parts. So that is like where it starts to get very questionable.
Oh, that's great advice. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for hosting us here in your beautiful space.
Thank you for having me.
We greatly appreciate that. Huge thanks to the fearless, fabulous, and always stylish Margaret Miller for showing up, speaking truth and reminding us that success means more when it includes real relationships and mutual support. If you're ready to support a woman-owned business that's serious style, check out the Three Little Birds Boutique online or at one of their 3 fabulous locations in Mechanicsburg, Hershey, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And definitely follow them on Instagram for fashion and fun. Whether you're running a business, chasing a dream, or just trying to find your circle, we hope this conversation helped you feel a little more seen and a lot more lifted. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a woman who needs to hear it. Let's stop gatekeeping and start amplifying. Until next time, stay loud, stay lifted, and never apologize for shining bright.
Yeah. Jacket. Trying to get my
You're
arm.
good.
Am I close enough to you?
I think so. I mean, we'll kind of like
Is that better? Just kidding.